Hi there. I will be discussing the story of Gilgamesh. Now, the Epic of Gilgamesh is an ancient poem from Mesopotamia, which is the earliest known form of literature. Now, the most complete version existing today is preserved in 12 clay of tablets, which was a library collection of the 17th century Assyrian king Ashurbanipal. Now, the standard version was discovered by Austen Henry Layard in the library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh in 1849. It was written in Standard Babylonian, a dialect of Akkadian that was only used for literary purposes. Now, this is said to be compiled by Sinlik Unini sometime between 1300 and 1000 BC. Now, this is said to be a very popular epic, with the first modern translation published in 1870 by George Smith. Some of the latest was done by Benjamin Foster in 2001, and in 2004 by Andrew George. So the Epic of Gilgamesh is just one of the many versions regarding the global flood. So we can see here many cultures, different versions of the story. People who have not met in one sitting. So somehow it gives us an idea regarding the truthfulness of the flood. Anyway, let me tell you the story about the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh. There was once a mighty king in the land of Uruk, who was said to be 1/3 man and 2/3 god. His name was Gilgamesh. He had no equal in his land. He was responsible for building the walls of Uruk and establishing its cities, while he protects the city from outsiders. Yet there was no one within the city who would protect them from this ruthless and maniacal of a king. He would not stop laying his hands on the women and virgins of his place. Therefore the people cried out to their god for help. They were heard by Anu, one of their god, and in answer to them he created a being of equal strength with Gilgamesh. His name, Enkidu. He was 1/3 man and 2/3 god. He looked like a man full of hairs and of beastly in appearance, powerful and non-equal in the forest. He was inhabiting the forest and considered himself one with them. When Gilgamesh heard of this powerful manly beast's existence, he ordered one of his shrine prostitute, Shamhat, to have an intimate relationship with him, because he reasoned that this kind of human contact will transform Enkidu to the man he ought to be. Rightly so, this kind of experience by Enkidu with Shamhat opened up his human consciousness and became civilized. Shamhat brought him to the land of Ur to meet with Gilgamesh. When they reached the land of Uruk, there was a wedding that was about to take place. And at the end of the wedding, Gilgamesh, being the sadistic, maniacal king that he was, reasoned that he should be the first one to lie down with the virgin bride. This enraged the newly transformed Enkidu and therefore challenged Gilgamesh to a battle. Enkidu guarded the door of the room where the bride is staying and told him, the only way Gilgamesh can enter is for him to get through him. Then the battle between the two demigods began, one trying to overcome each other. With a mighty stroke given by Gilgamesh met with an equally mighty hand by Enkidu. The battle seems endless until finally Gilgamesh was able to subdue Enkidu. Gilgamesh was pleased with the kind of dedication and might Enkidu gave in their battle. So in return, he offered a pact of friendship and alliance with the mighty Enkidu, and he in return accepted. Theirs was the beginning of friendship, and they had good and exciting adventures together. Until one day, these good times came to a gradual cessation. They began to relax and stayed more in the castle, and they became lazy. Gilgamesh, getting bored of their preoccupation, excitingly suggested if they cut down some trees found in the cedar forest. But Enkidu protested because it was protected by the monster called Humbaba. Then Gilgamesh said they would need to kill Humbaba then. To Enkidu's hesitation, he finally gave in to his friends' constant bickering. Then they traveled to the land of the cedar forest and started picking the tree they wished to cut. But upon striking a tree, Humbaba suddenly came to terrorize them and scare away these atrocious and despicable intruders of his. While encouraging one another, and with the help of Shamash, the sun god, who sent 13 winds to bind Humbaba, Gilgamesh and Enkidu was able to subdue the mountain monster, with Gilgamesh giving the final blow to the neck of Humbaba. They finally killed him. Then they cut the big cedar trees and brought them back to Uruk via Euphrates River. One of the big cedar trees they fashioned to occupy the door for the temple of Enlil. While doing this, the goddess Ishtar had her eyes fixed on Gilgamesh, and she began to be attracted to him. Finally, she proposes marriage to him. But Gilgamesh, knowing the predicament of all the lovers that has gone through the hands of Ishtar, rejects and insults her in return. Ishtar then turned to her father Anu to send the bull of heaven to terrorize them back, with a threat from Ishtar that she will raise the dead to consume the whole humanity if Anu doesn't give in her request. Anu then finally gave in and sent the bull of heaven to terrorize them. But then again, the dynamic duo of Gilgamesh and Enkidu came into the rescue and had battle with the bull of heaven. They killed it. This displeased the gods and finally decided that one of the demigods should die, because they have killed Humbaba and the bull of heaven. During this time, Enkidu was dreaming. Enkidu's dream revealed to him his future demise. He dreamed of going to the netherworld, where people eat clay and are clothed in feathers. He dreamed he was being led there by a terrifying angel of death. Enkidu was ill for many days until on the 12th day, he finally died. Gilgamesh laments of his friend, which made him think of his own life. If that can grieve his friend, so then he. He began to contemplate on searching for a way to make himself immortal. He set off on an adventure to look for Utnapishtim, the survivor of the Great Flood, and to inquire of him how to become immortal, because he knew Utnapishtim and his wife was granted immortality by the gods. His adventures includes crossing dangerous forests inhabited by lions. He was also able to pass a mountain guarded by scorpion men. But upon seeing him and recognizing that he was a demigod, they let him through, until he came to an alehouse and saw an alewife. She sent him to Urshanabi, the ferryman, who will be able to help him cross the sea going to Utnapishtim. When he arrived there, he saw two giant stone men. Thinking they were hostile, he subdued and killed them both. Urshanabi arrived, and to his amaze saw the stone men dead. And then he said, "The sea is deadly, and the stone giants are the only one who can cross them. Gilgamesh, you need to make a punting pole made of 120 trees." And Gilgamesh did so, and they were able to cross the sea, going to the island of Utnapishtim. Upon meeting Utnapishtim, Gilgamesh retold his story and told him why he was looking for him. But Utnapishtim became angry and dismayed at Gilgamesh, and he asked him, "Why should you be worthy of being granted the same glory as I am?" But Gilgamesh said, "My friend, I am no different from you." And then Utnapishtim told him how he got the immortality he has. He told him the story of the Great Flood and how the gods granted him eternal life. Finally, he challenged Gilgamesh. "My friend, if you can stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights, then I will be giving you this immortality that I have." Gilgamesh, thinking he was apt for the challenge, took it. However, upon even speaking with Utnapishtim, he became weary and went to sleep right away. And then for the next 7 days, he fell asleep. Utnapishtim, mocking Gilgamesh, told his wife to bake a bread for every day they found Gilgamesh sleeping. For 7 days, Gilgamesh was sleeping. And for each day, Utnapishtim's wife put a loaf of bread on top of his head. For 7 days, Gilgamesh was asleep, and upon waking up, he found 7 loaves of bread that corresponds to the number of days he was sleeping. Utnapishtim then reprimanded him and sent him and Urshanabi back to where they came from. But Utnapishtim's wife got pity on Gilgamesh because of his long journey. Utnapishtim then told Gilgamesh to look for a box-type plant under the sea, and that will give him immortality. He then tied the stone under his feet and went deep down into the ocean. He finally found this box-type plant and then went ashore. Upon coming up from the sea, he placed the plant aside so he can take a bath and clean himself first. While doing that, a snake came and ate the plant. Then Gilgamesh saw the snake shed its skin and became young and vibrant. Gilgamesh cries the futility of his effort and how he had lost the possibility of him becoming immortal. He then returns to Uruk, and upon seeing its mighty walls, he simply praised this work to Urshanabi. That's the end of the Epic of Gilgamesh. Thank you very much.